components in our location across the Midwest. Every state can make or decide how many hours in class, okay, that you need. So I'm a licensed state certified driving instructor. Your mama can't come in and do the class. Your daddy can't come in and do the class. Okay, your auntie down the street can't come in and do the class. That would be invalid. So I know the information to cover. Every 2 years, all instructors go through a professional development, which is 8 hours. They go through a background check. They take a physical. And in that physical, if you need glasses, you get them, blood pressure, everything. So I think it's important. You want to have your instructors in shape. And in this particular location, there are 12 components. I'm going to go through each of them, and then we'll just break a little bit down. I'll give you some test prep, and we'll go from there. So obviously, you signed up online. That takes away a lot of paperwork. And I think over the next year or two, you're going to see more driver's education programs go online because it's convenient for the instructor. It's convenient for the families, but also there's that accountability piece. If you missed a day, you're going to have to make it up. If you're disrespectful and not following the rules, you'll get kicked out. Once a month, kids get kicked out. They're in the wrong place. They're in a car. They're not in an educational setting. An educational setting is you in your kitchen table, you sitting at the desk in your bedroom, sitting at a desk in the basement, maybe sitting outside on the back. But you need to be in an educational setting. Sessions are recorded in case you try to, say, hey, the instructor doesn't like me, or there's a problem. If you have bad internet and you keep dropping out, the state will say, listen, they don't have a full 24 hours of class. So in case my system crashes, hey, so that has happened before. So your internet is really important. You guys know this is 2026. You don't have solid internet, you're slow, you're missing out, you're lagging. We discussed the course content and the requirements. You got to have 6 hours of driving. You got to have 4 hours observing someone. And if you don't have 4 hours, you won't be compliant. Okay? Compliant means you met the state requirements, either minimum or maximum. And then from there, you can get more than 6 hours of driving if you are terrible at merging on the expressway or never parallel park, because if your instructor does not work on those things, then you won't pass your state test. I teach you guys toward the state test so you can focus and know this is the standard that is being expected of me. So this way there are no excuses. And for instance, in a dangerous maneuver, you running a light, you blowing a stop sign, you cutting off a car. Another dangerous maneuver would be going over the speed limit or hitting a curb. Okay. We talked about the rules of the right of way. If someone waves you through and you don't stop, that's failure. First, you didn't stop. And second, someone waved you through and you hit someone. So we had a nice in-depth discussion about rules of the right of way. You should understand that. If you missed that on your test, it's not because I didn't do my job. It's because you guys didn't listen. As some of you blur your screen, you're not paying attention, you're looking at the wall. Okay? That's just who you are. There are a group of questions that put you in situations you have to read. I'm not going to assume you can or cannot read. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. Okay? About 10% of the population is illiterate. Some of you don't know how to read. I didn't say you, but people do not know how to read. So if you can't read, you're going to try to guess the test, and that's when you fall into a problem. We've done a lot of quizzes. We've looked at data. I can tell who's at the top, who's at the middle, who's at the bottom. I don't guess. I use data. If your parents were connecting in, I can email them test results. They can say, yep, my baby struggles at reading ever since kindergarten. Yep, my baby struggles at putting together information. So it's nothing new. Okay? So you got to put in work. So that part I don't worry about because I'm an educator and I know I'm going to cover the objective, cover everything you need, answer your questions. You're high school students. You're not middle school. You're not college. You're not adult. Adult is 18. You're not 18. If you're 18, you wouldn't be taking this online course. You would go to the Secretary of State. You take a test, which is now online. Great. After you take that test, you're going to drive with someone for 30 days who's over 21. If you think you're ready, you take your road test. If you're not ready, you still practice. So there are thousands of people who are not ready to drive because they're insecure or they have anxiety or they don't have the money or they don't have the time or they're not really putting in a priority. That's like some of you have missed class for whatever reason. I don't care that you missed class, but you're going to have to make it up or you don't get your certificate. And most of you want to drive. Some of you do not. How do I know? I teach a segment 2. You're going to come back in 3 months and you should have a minimum of 30 hours. That's an hour and a half per week. If you can drive an hour and a half per week, you're going to have 30 hours in 3 months. Some of you will have 40. Some of you will have 50, 60, 70, because you're driving to school, home. You're driving after school, before 10 at night. You're driving on the weekend. That's if your parents have the time and make the time, okay? So you have some parts of things you have to do. I've done my job. Your parents need to do their job, okay? The kids who don't come back in 3 months, you have a problem at home, relationship with your family members. You are putting work first. You signed up for 10 AP classes and you failed all of your AP classes because you don't have time management. One of my students told me in my segment 2, I have time management. Do you have a job? I have a job and I'm taking 3 AP classes and I'm an all-state athlete. Time management. So you have some growing up to do. Driving does not make you a grown-up. The responsibility does. So we started off with the sign pretest. Okay? Stop signs, yield signs. There are 3 major categories. Warning sign, yellow and black. Regulatory sign, a stop sign, which is red background, white letters. And warning, guide, and regulatory. Guide is green and white. A recreational sign, Yellowstone National Park. The Mackinac Bridge. It's a brown sign with white letters. If you don't know your signs by now, it's because you didn't put in work. If you really want to be a great driver, you're going to focus on good parking. You're going to park good in front of your house. You're just saying, oh my God, look at this parking job. They're not on the grass. They didn't hit the mailbox. They're not in the street. Backing in your driveway. You're probably saying that's not important. It is important. People look at you. They evaluate you based on what you do. You coming to school? Are you coming in crazy, sideways, running over people, loud? The principal's looking at you. Teachers are looking at you. Yeah, I want everyone to look at me. They're looking at you for the wrong reason, Drew. They're looking at you for the wrong reason because you're coming in late. Not saying you are, Drew. That's using it as an example. You're coming in late. You're driving fast. You barely found a spot. You got in. Your car or truck is sideways. And then you're running into class and you left your phone in the car and your wallet. And then someone is going to go through the parking lot of breaking cars. That happens at high schools because you leave the phone out. You leave money out. Don't leave valuables out. Whatever driver must know, all states have whatever driver must know. You're going to have some questions from there. You need to know those prep guidelines. You should just look through. You don't have to stay up all night and look for stuff. If you are solid in your review, you're going to do fine tomorrow. If not, then you're going to fail. It's either or. So, knowing your vehicle, we did some in-depth analysis where you had $4,000. You had a 500-mile range. You picked the vehicle. I thought that was really good. My students love that. And that teaches you about what to look for in a car, what to not look for in a car. Teaches you about budgets. Maybe you should get a 2021 or 2022, put down a deposit, have a conversation with mom or dad and say, listen, I want to get a newer car that's not going to break down, that's under 80,000 or 90,000 miles. Would you be willing to sign for me or co-sign. I save $4,000. I'll put down 3. We'll pay for insurance for 6 months or a year. I need to find a job. Some of your parents will say yes. Okay, Everett, mom and dad will say yes. Some of your parents will say no because you're irresponsible, you don't do well in school, you don't listen, your grades are terrible, you miss practice, you miss driver's ed. That's on you. Some of you will have that reality. Or some of you will have an at-fault accident. You ran a light, you were late to school, you hit someone. Your insurance will go up. Those honest stories happen. Or you're doing everything right. Let's pretend that Alexis B is driving. She's got her truck. Okay, she got a wrap on there. She got some nice lights at the bottom. A man running late to work rear-ends her at the light. Her whole world is done. You worked all summer. Your parents are all in. That can happen. And because your vehicle is a 2020 or 2022 and it's 2026, you get less than half of what your vehicle is worth. And that's just enough to pay it off. Those sad stories happen. People have accidents all the time. An example, an elderly man rear-ended a semi-truck last Saturday on 94. I looked at the truck, man, that's big. I looked at the elderly man, and then a lady hit him, and they were fighting outside on 94. I'm like, oh my God. But in our state, if you rear end someone, you are at fault. That could be you. And because you really can't afford the insurance on a newer car, your parents are like, okay, we'll put you on ours. You get hit. Let's go back to Alexis B. It's not her fault. She gets hit. Alexis, unfortunately, your insurance will go up even though the accident was not your fault because you are a risk. You're under 24 years old. You're probably saying, well, why is 24 a thing? After about 24 years old, your risk of getting hit, becoming a good driver, dropped down. Okay? So around 24 is when the risk of you being in an accident, getting hit or hitting someone goes down. Between now and 24 years old, your brain is still developing. You're going to wear a hoodie backwards in high school. It look ridiculous. You think you're funny. You're going to wear a cartoon t-shirt. You're like saying, hey, there's nothing wrong with cartoons, but you go into 10th grade. You're supposed to have a nice crispy button-down shirt on and looking professional. You're going to come late to class and bang on the teacher's door, and you get mad because he or she doesn't let you in. You're embarrassing, but yet you want your teacher to give you a recommendation. Your teacher knows of a job opening. Do you really think your teacher's going to recommend you? Of course not. You embarrass a freshman in the hallway. You push them, you make them fall, you post a picture, it goes viral, you get 1 million views, but for the wrong reason. And that video happens to go to the owner of the job you're at, whose daughter is a social media incredible person. And then their daughter brings it to her dad and says, do you know this kid? Do you know Maverick? For instance, like Maverick looking all fuzzy in the background, he's done that a couple of times. I'm just staying consistent. Feel me? So people do notice that. So what you do comes to the light. Okay? Me doing this right now. If I do a terrible job, you're going to tell your friends, tell corporate. But I'm consistent. And I go over this. So I'm telling you these stories along the way because you're not done. Your life is just starting. And if you get tickets or get in accidents, your insurance will go up, your parents' insurance will go up, then they will drop you. You'll have to take and get into a high pool of insurance people who are high risk. And unfortunately, that's going to happen to some of you because you have an at-fault accident or you're in an accident. And the first one is not your fault, but your insurance goes up 10%. The second one is your fault, it goes up another 10%. That's 20%. or your car gets hit and the fender is smashed in and you are crying and upset and you tell your parents, can we get this fixed? Honey, we can't, because the first accident that you had last summer wasn't your fault. They sent us a letter. If the driver has another accident, the insurance is going to go up. So they can't report it to the insurance company. So now you are driving a busted car with a smashed in fender. It happened to me. I had a Chrysler 300. It was a lease. Someone hit our door. It wasn't me. My son was very upset. Dad, can we get the door fixed? Dad, can we get the door fixed? Dad, can we get the door fixed? He didn't want to hear what I had to say because all he's worrying about is how he looks. He's not paying the bills. He doesn't understand. That's going to be some of you because you're in that kid world. Your parents are in that adult world paying bills, making sure you got food in the house, insurance, sneakers, pants, underwear, paying your pay to play at your high school. If your high school has pay to play, put yes into the chat. If your high school has pay to play, because districts are traveling and it takes fuel and time, and a lot of districts have pay to play. You play one sport, that's 75. You play two sports, that's 150. Smaller schools, the schools that you go to, the budgets are a little tighter. Okay, you got less than 1,000 kids. Where I am, we have one of the biggest high schools in the state. Okay. So you will find out. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So there are components. It's an online course. It's great. So let's break some of these things down. I'm going to look at some of your questions, and we're going to pause for a second. What are the questions a lot of people get wrong? All of them. Bryce, they get all of them wrong because you skip around. Here's why they get all of them wrong. You don't have proper test taking skills. They skip around. And let me do the first 10. Oh. And then you skip to the back. Let me do the last 80. Man, number 1 was A. Or was it C? Or you try to look on your friend's test. They're different tests. Or you try to use your phone. In my testing session, I have you put your phone up because we know you're going to take pictures and try to get it on the internet. I strongly suggest you just go over the study guide. I strongly suggest we take a few quizzes, go over them, explain it. Always speak truth. If you're worrying by now on a few questions, then you're probably worried for the test. I'm at peace because I'm thorough. I'm at peace because I evaluate myself. And most of the time, the class has been at a B, B plus, occasionally A minus. But if you're the type of kid that kind of drifts off and looks at the wall, and I'm being a kid. I'm playing on your phone, which all of you are guilty of because you don't have attention. No cap, no hate, always should be truth. You're probably going to miss 10 questions very easily. And then if you miss another 10, you're at 20. So after about 25 or 26 problems, you're going to fail. So you need a 56%. This means you have missed over 26 questions. So it could be a simple question. What does the double yellow line mean? Based on the diagram, who has the right of way? Okay. How many feet should you turn off your high beam headlights? When should you use your high beam headlights? Who has the right of way? What is lane line reference? I've observed students take the test in 20 minutes and get a B. I've observed students take the test in 2 hours and miss 50 questions. You have 2 hours to take the test. 2. If you can't take it in 2 hours, your instructor will take the test. You'll have to contact corporate. You're going to have to take it at the next test session. So you want to pass it when you pass it. You don't want to wait. Type the question in. Type it in now. No secret questions. This is urgent. I've been telling you this from day one of the class. So some of you are now, I guess I better study. So just type in your question. So it depends, Bryce. Everyone is different. Okay? And we'll go over a few of those questions. As I'm going with this, you're going to have questions on signs. Okay? A warning sign versus a guide sign. You should know that. You should know the signs by the color and shape. You should know the speed limit in a residential area. You took a pre-test. Okay? You took a pre-test about 3 weeks ago. When conducting a pre-entry check, you should check. If you don't know pre-entry, then you're going to be not sure. Is it A and B? Is it A? Is it B? Is it none of the above? Is it all the above? I'm just reading some of the sample questions. Alexis Jones may know really good information about roundabouts, but she may not know about four-way stops. What you want to do is have general information on everything. You can't remember it. You need to understand it because you're going to have your license for the rest of your life until you can't drive anymore physically or you have accidents and it's taken away. So you want to consider this your first level of learning. Errors that trigger road rage. If you don't know what road rage is or you don't know what an error is, then you're going to miss this really easy question. Okay? One of the things that does not belong, the errors that trigger road rage, driving safely and courteously. That doesn't trigger road rage. A flashing yellow arrow means, if you don't know what that means, you could miss that question because the questions are very tricky. Driver's ed instructors, parents, companies, corporations, and the state, they meet. You have those high-level, big brain people who put this together. Every driving school can make their own test. Or the state gives them a list of 100 questions, 200 questions, and they pick the ones they feel are important. So if we had driving school A, B, and C, the questions will be slightly different. Okay? Roundabouts are significantly important. 3 years ago, 5 years ago, we didn't have questions on roundabouts. 2 acceptable methods of steering. It's telling you the question right now. Yes, you can turn with one hand, but it's not acceptable. And if you do it on the test, you'll fail. It's a dangerous maneuver. 2 acceptable methods are hand over hand and push-pull. The speed limit in a parking lot, if not, post it. If you don't know what this is, you're going to miss a very easy question. 20 is too fast. 25 is too fast. 10. You must be able to recognize signs by their color and shape. So each sign has a different shape. Each sign has a different color. The correct answer is C, both A and B. I'm looking at some of your questions. Yeah, we'll do another quiz today, Drew. You know I got you. Short and quick. I could give you 100 question quiz and put you to sleep, but I'm not like that. I'm going to give you a 10 question, a 20 question. We go over it. I got you. I want to take the time to go over this because I won't be there with you tomorrow, but I'm going to be there in spirit. And you need to text me when you get your score. because I've invested time into you. You've invested time into me. I'm just going through this pavement markings. You're going to have, look at number 12. You're going to have a question like this. You're going to have pavement markings. Vehicle B has solid lines. Vehicle A has a broken line to their left. You need to know what that means. And it's really easy to get confused. If you see a deer, we've talked about deer and moose. If you see a deer, you should, okay? You want to slow down and be able to stop. Because if you see one deer, you're going to see 3, 4, 5 more. And remember, you got your nice 2022, you put down $3,000. It's got 60,000 miles. It would be terrible if a deer come out, you struck a deer, your car is totaled. Yes, the most important thing, Alexis B, is that you're okay. A car can be replaced. But imagine, okay, that a deer struck your car or you struck a deer. And these are normal things in our region. Entering the freeway, you must use the deacceleration lane, passing lane, weave lane. This is a great question. All of these are elements of a freeway. You have to use the weave lane. The weave lane is when you merge out and people could be getting off. So weave lanes are tricky. Whatever driver must know, you need to know, who has a license. What is a restricted license? I'm not highlighting some of the points. We have a point system. We spent some time on that. I'm just looking through. Driving is a privilege, not a right. We have a level 1, level 2, and level 3 because we have a graduated licensing system. If you're trying to get a motorcycle, you need a motorcycle endorsement. Responsibilities of the road users, HTS. You might want to remember this, HTS, Highway Transportation System. Give me 12 minutes. Give me 12 minutes, guys. Hang in there. Give me 12 minutes. So ignorance is no excuse. You got to have your seatbelt. You got to have your insurance. You got to have your registration. I checked on my wife's car yesterday because the glove compartment is a low-key little bit of a mess. On top, in the envelope, the registration, proof of insurance. So if I get pulled over, I'm not looking nervous and like an amateur. Here you go, officer. Roll down my window, shut off the car, have my hands on the steering wheel, on the dashboard. So I'm calm. We've seen Officer Ware in the Sunshine Police Department pulling over aggressive and road rage drivers. Okay, he's got a routine. We don't know what state of mind people are in. Your safety is your responsibility. Put on your seatbelt. Make sure your headlights work. Make sure your taillights work. My daughter and her jet ski, the taillights out on the trailer. I need to take the time to make sure her light bulbs in her trailer work. Okay? The tire on the jet ski the tread is missing. It's about to be a blowout. We got to make sure she gets 2 new tires because when you're taking your jet ski, it sits in your garage or on the side of the house or in a pole barn. In our case, it's in our garage. We cleaned up 1/2. I don't want her to have a breakdown and flip over her jet ski. That'd be terrible. Okay? So we got to take care of safety. Pedestrians are always vulnerable. Please remember this, children are small and can be very difficult to see. Elderly and the physically or visually impaired may walk slower. Adults should know better. So you might have a question, always yield to pedestrians, even when they are entering the roadway improperly. When you're in downtown, they're going to walk out in front of you and your instructor. Pause for a second. Thank you, Drew. I saw that. We'll do some quizzes. How long we get to take the test? You have 2 hours. The reality is you're going to be done in half an hour or an hour. Okay? Do they have a lot of questions that try? Yes, they do have questions, Alexis Jones, that they try to confuse you. They're similar. They're expressway questions. They're defensive driving questions. They're right-of-way questions. They're residential questions. So you need to become that master in everything. We want to over-prepare. So when you go there, you're like, thank you, Mr. Myles. I already know I can pass. I looked over it. There are about 5 questions I don't know, or 10 questions. You just take your time, you read each question, and if you don't know it, you skip it and go to the next. Don't start looking at your friend's test. Or if you're slow, I'm a slow test taker, very slow. I am so slow. I'm the last one. The professor's like, are you done? No, I got 10 more. Because I don't second guess yourself. What common questions? I talked about the rules of the right of way, just to name a few. Going through this information, work zones. You need to know the speed limit in a work zone. Okay. There is a sense of urgency when people are driving in a work zone. There are workers trying to fix a road. It's a lot of pressure. You got to take up material. You've got to shovel it up. It's hot. Cars are flying by. That's pressure. You can see drivers on the phone not paying attention. You can see a car veering towards you. You're like, oh my God, this car almost hit me. This lady almost hit me. This truck. And just imagine. And then your boss is looking at you too. And then you have the state official who's sitting there in the air conditioning car. You're like, I'm burning up, but I'm making $40 an hour. I'm making $30 an hour, but your life is on the line and it's rush hour. And you can see everyone's face. They're like, oh my God, I hate this freaking construction. Okay. But then you look at your work at lunch. We've taken up 10 miles of road. You feel progress. You sprayed tar down. The next crew will come in. They're going to put that asphalt down. It's mostly done with machines. You do have to shovel. You do have to put some work in. Then later that night, the line crew comes in. And then next morning, you tell your friends, I put this road down. And then your friends try to cap it. Why is this so terrible? We don't use the right materials. But that's a sense of pride. That's a sense of pride. So work zones, emergency vehicles, you got to pull over to the right side of the road. Also, the move over law. The move over law. You need to know what that is, what you should do. If you listen, I'm giving you some tips on construction vehicles. Don't tailgate them. They're slower. They don't stop as quick. They need a lot of braking distance. Knowing your vehicle, you need to know about the title. Okay. You should never have the title with you. That stays at home, safe and secure place. It says it. Once you receive the title of your new car, always keep it hidden in a safe place in your residence. You should never drive with the title of your vehicle because if your vehicle is stolen, thieves could forge the title. They have your car. Your registration, that needs to stay in the car with you, and your proof of insurance. Okay, so proof of insurance and registration. Proof of insurance, a document in your vehicle at all times while you are driving to show that you have coverage on your vehicle in case of an accident or traffic violation. An officer, where do you have your insurance? It's on my phone. I haven't updated the app. So he's used to this, but it makes him irritated. Okay, update the app, download it. I need to see proof of insurance. And then he will say, I'm going to go check your license and make sure everything is good. And by the time he brings the ticket back, they're like, hey, I have insurance. I've already checked it. I know. Oh, by the way, you were going 30 over. Here's your ticket. Don't speed. Vehicle controls, steering wheel, your horn, just naming a few. You will have a question about ABS, anti-lock brake system. And if you don't know what that is, you better look it up. There are two types of brake systems. ABS, which is an anti-lock brake system. You slam those brakes and you don't let up. The computer will pulsate the brakes. And if you don't have ABS, you have to pump the brakes so they don't lock up. I'm giving you tips right now. This is your instrument panel. Beginner drivers tend to stare at the speedometer. All the gauges give you information. Mirror usage. You're going to have some questions on this. Your mirrors show you images in your area. Anytime speed or position adjustment is necessary, the driver must consider the location. We saw the truck driving video. Truck drivers can't see you. What do and can we do if we finish? That's up to your instructor. I can't tell you what the instructor will or what I do, but you got to have 24 hours of class. And if your instructor lets you go early, you don't have 24 hours of class, and then you're not compliant. And then an email will be sent, hey guys, you have to come back for an hour of class. So talk to your instructor on that. Drivers cannot afford to divert attention from the path ahead. So the most important thing is that you look ahead for more than a second. Mirror checks can answer 3 important questions. I'm going to say these 3 questions and then we're moving on. Okay. The first one, are there vehicles present? That's the first question. When you're driving, do I see a vehicle to the left, to the right, behind me? Next question, what is the location? Are they by my door? Are they by the trunk? Are they a quarter of a mile behind me? Are they a half a mile behind me? Are they right near me? You need to put your defensive driving hat on. I would in 2026, but it's not important. Some of you are losing attention. We're taking our time because I know what's on the test. And if you listen to me, you'll say, I only missed 5. Thank you. I'm like, I knew you did a good job, Alexis B. Because you put in that work. I know. Okay. And then the next question is, what is the size and relative speed of the detected vehicle? Is it a semi-truck going 55 and a 70, a little slow? Is it someone in a sports car going 80, 85, zipping in and out of traffic? Is it a person hauling a jet ski going about 65, right? The trailer's kind of moving all over the road. It takes time to learn how to drive with a trailer and back it in. Eventually you will. The first 3 to 10 times you're going to suck because it was terrible when I had my 18-foot open trailer that's in the garage. And you dread backing it in. You dread pulling it out. You got to air up your tires, drop it on your hitch, chain it up, plug up make sure your brake lights work, make sure your e-brake works. It's a lot. You know, are you praying that you got a spare tire? You know, how old are your tires? Tires that are 10 years old or older, you should replace. This is a tip. If you have tires that are 10 years old or older, they need to be replaced. I think my trailer tires are past that. They're not worn out because I've only been out less than 10 times. But when I have been out, I'm hauling a car, tools to a racetrack. It's 110 degrees on the road. My tires could be 90 to 100 degrees each. I have one tire that's 120. That's the one that's going to explode. I have to make sure I have 65 pounds of air in each of my 4 tires and my spare. Do I have my 4-way lug wrench? Do I have a jack in case? Because I've had blowouts and it's very scary. Can I stop in time if someone cuts me off? I'm going to be in the middle lane. I'm not going to be in the left. I'm hauling an 18-foot open trailer, a car on top, and tools. I can't just stop. I don't want to rear end someone in my 3/4 ton van. I don't want to flip my car. So I'm trying to really look at mirrors, keep space ahead of me, not go super fast, not go slow. And it's very stressful because if you don't normally tow a lot, you don't want to hit a mailbox when you're making a right turn. You got to go into a gas station. The rear of your trailer is kind of near a gas pump and you don't want to hit it. You park away from people. There's certain protocol and people are kind of watching you, looking at your car, and they're not paying attention driving, and there's a traffic backup. It's stressful. So mirror usage are important. You need to review the mirror usage when stopping, slow down gradually, scan, check the mirrors, leave extra space. And when I'm hauling my car, I'm leaving extra space. I'm between 65 and about 70. If I'm in a car, I'm more upwards of 70. Okay? When turning, check your mirrors. Someone could speed in the center or cut over to the right. And especially if I'm hauling an open trailer, cars are impatient. They're going to try to cut in to the right. That's very scary. Check your blind spots, rear view. Regular side view mirrors often are angled out in an additional 12 to 16 degrees. Enhanced mirror setting. They do not provide sufficient information to safely make movements to the side without first making a mirror blind spot check. I'm extra when I'm hauling my car. I'm looking, and sometimes I look too long and I'm going off the road. I really drive paranoid. That's scary because I don't get out enough with this car and the trailer, and I check my tie-down straps. Are they loose? Is one tire hot? Is one tire too cold? Are my lug nuts tight enough? You got to do that maintenance. Enhanced mirror settings. Inside mirror setting, inside mirrors become primary mirror for view of the rear. Outside mirrors should be adjusted to reduce blind spots. Reduce, not take away, and provide maximum visibility. Okay? So you want to have space. You might have a question about airbags. What are they? Why are they important? What is the significance of an airbag here? ABS. I just told you about this. ABS. Let's look at this. The system is designed to automatically pump the brakes to avoid wheel lock when the driver applies pressure to the brake pedal. This is very important when a driver has to stop very abruptly. You have your jet skis, you have your snowmobiles, you have your 18-foot open trailer with your car on top. You're going to the track. There's a sudden slowdown. We're hitting those brakes, and I'm praying that we can slow down in time. I don't want to hit a car. I don't want someone to hit me. So I'm being very deliberate. I would turn on my four-way flashers to let people know. This is very important when a driver has to stop very abruptly and immediately presses the brake pedal as far down as possible and does not have the space to slide. It's scary. If you've been there and your parents are like, oh my God, what happened, Mom and Dad? These 5 trucks just stopped because someone had a blowout on their tire and they're flipping their car. Traction control. You might have, you're going to have a question on ESP. You might want to circle that or write it down. ESP. Take a moment. ESP. All ESP systems include ABS and apply on the front 2 wheels or all 4 wheels. So you might have a question on ESP if you didn't read it. I've observed ESP saving our lives. When we're on the expressway in the wintertime, there's black ice. ESP has saved the driver's side car and us from flipping the car because beginning drivers panic, jerk the wheel, and the car is fishtailing. That's scary. All ESP systems include ABS, anti-lock brake system, and apply on the front two wheels or all four at the same time, and may have the ability to control engine speed and torque. Yes. My SS Trailblazer, it has a traction control system. If the tires are spinning, the motor's going to pull torque and spark so you can't spin out. You can't hit the gas. And that's the safety feature. Every vehicle is a little different. How does it work? It uses sensors to monitor the dynamic state. I love physics. The dynamic state of the vehicle and driver's commands. So if you're spinning and you're jerking the wheel and hitting the brake, the car will sense this and either apply the front or rear brakes, or let one spin, or let one partially roll to keep the car from rolling over. Then it applies the brakes individually. Yes, that's right. And adjust the engine torque if applicable to alter rotational movements. I love this. And the correct path of the vehicle, the driver. So if you're trying to go right and your car's spinning to the left, it's going to maybe squeeze the inside two right brakes. It's going to pull power away because it senses the car's out of control. It may let the brake roll, then let up, roll, then let up. It is very fascinating. But you're going to miss that question because you're not listening right now. I'm being funny and sarcastic, but you remember what I'm saying, because when you're on 75 in the wintertime going too fast and you go over a bridge and there's black ice and you're going to feel the car spin and you overcorrect, you're going to feel the car go, and that's the computer just saving you. But, crumple zones. There are certain segments of the vehicle located in the front and rear. One of my students asked me about that. They're designed to collapse while the passenger compartment remains intact during the collision. The vehicle's trunk and front hood are examples of crumple zones. So this is why your friends laugh at you, because you hit a deer and your hood is all crumpled up and your bumper's pushed in. They're like, dude, what happened? It's okay, man. I already called the junkyard. I'm getting a new front clip and hood. It costs $325. I got $600. I saved. Talked to my teacher in body shop. We're going to fix it on Friday. And I'm going to paint it Sunday night. And then I'll have a wrap on my car next week. Your friends are like, you going to do that? Yeah, man. You're driving a 2010. I'm driving a 2024. You got to get it done. You can't drive your car in that type of condition. Blind spot detection. You might have questions on this. This technology alerts the driver to cars or other objects in their blind spots. Okay? It detects something is in your way. It doesn't say if it's a human or a dog or a bike or a car. Something's in your way. It may flash a light in your exterior mirror, causing the driver's seat or steering wheel to vibrate. Yes. Or have an alarm. Okay, type in takeaway. Type in takeaway. I went through half of this. They're 37. Your responsibility, type in takeaway. What did you learn? As you're typing takeaway, I'm just refreshing your brain. I'm not holding your hand and going through this word for word. That is your responsibility. The session's recorded. I ask you to tap in takeaway, TAKEAWAY, semicolon. When you do that, you are forcing your brain to recall some of the things I talked about, to recall some of the things you need. I'm giving you real input for your test. What more do you want? You have to go over this data. I'm passionate. And you will do well. I'm positive in manifestation. Okay, so we talked about hand over hand steering, hand to hand. As you put in your takeaway, parking, you got to know how to park. And we talked about pride. You come to school, when school starts, you got your new truck. Man, look at your truck. Yeah, bro, I've been working all summer, man. I just finished driver's ed. My teacher was incredible. I only missed 3 questions. I sent him a text. He said, great. He said, I'm one of the best in the class this summer. That's a good feeling you're going to carry into school. We're all human. Okay? And then I'll say, man, I love my class. They're awesome. They really did well. So you got to know how to park. You got to know how to back into spaces. Parking on the hill. You got to read through this. We're going to hit our quiz in a moment. Signs, regulatory, warning, guide, traffic lights. It's all here. You just got to go through your study guide. Pavement markings, broken yellow line means you can pass when safe. Solid line, you cannot. School zones, intersections, controlled, uncontrolled. Warning sign, guide sign, railroad crossing. You're going to have some images on pavement markings. Yeah, that ESP, that will save you. And I think it's a government, the backup cameras, I think are now government requirements. You got to check on that. Anti-lock brakes are government requirements. Good morning, E. How are you? Anti-lock brakes are government requirements. Okay. Just name a few. Airbags are government requirements. We talked about traffic lights. Make sure you understand perceive, decide, act, space management system, PDA. Perceive objects or collisions in a row. Hey, there's a deer in the road. What do I do? Okay, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to reduce my speed. I'm going to hit my horn. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to flash my lights. Maybe the deer or deers will walk by and I'm good. I'm going to try to go slow as possible. You don't want to swerve because if you swerve, you in the ditch, you rode your car over. You don't want to go in the wrong lane to hit a car head on. You get a ticket. Oh, there was a deer. Well, based on the protocol in driver's education and whatever drivers know, you should not have left the lane. You're at fault. Sorry, officer. Here's your ticket. Your insurance went up. Your insurance agent. Wow, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I got a concussion. I cut my head. I got stitches. I'm glad you're okay. I heard you were in the hospital. Your parents text me. They've had insurance with me for the last 25 years. I have some bad news for you. Because you were at fault, your insurance will go up. And your parents' insurance, I understand. But I'm glad you're okay. Decide the projected path ahead, an alternative path. Check the sides. Check the rear, reduce speed, make predictions. Maybe the deer will go by and it was a bad dream and I didn't hit the deer, but I sideswiped a road sign. Well, you just knocked off your mirror. Well, my cousin works at the body shop. He can fix it. I can go to the junkyard. There's a spare car there. I already got the front clip. My other uncle does body work. He said, just bring it over, nephew. We'll pull it out. We'll buff it out. It's good as new. And then act. Act appropriately. If you slam brakes and you get rear-ended, you did the right thing, but the other driver wasn't paying attention. Change speed, change position, and or communicate. If you understand the PDA space management system, you're going to do fine. Yes, you're panicked. Yes, a deer is out. These are just examples. Communicate, headlights, turn signals. I turn on my 4-ways. If I see there's a traffic backup on 94, I-80, okay, going to the Ohio Turnpike, up to New York, or going to Indiana, or going down to Florida to Moroso Motorsport Park, I'm turning on my 4-ways. There's a giant backup. I don't want to get hit. So I'm really trying to look ahead as far as possible. It's like you looking in the hallway. There's a fight going on. You keep walking, and then you accidentally get hit and knocked over. And then you get hit, knocked to the ground, you have a concussion. Oh, by the way, you got your tooth knocked out because you shouldn't have been there. Because you were in the wrong place, the wrong time. A lot of innocent people get hit all the time. It's true. Every driver should develop a proactive driving approach intended to avoid potential conflicts before they materialize. I love it. Bryce outside getting some of that sunlight. Bryce, we all need to go outside. I'm upstairs in the studio in my son's room, right? Ring light, camera, dog here underneath me. You are living your best life, man. I am jealous of you right now. You getting that sunlight, fresh air. I am envious of you. I just want to pause a second. Get some of that fresh air. Man, I wish where you were. Okay, so you got to avoid risk. Okay, if you're tired, you shouldn't be driving. You're going to have a question on that. If you're tired, don't drive. If you're on medication, cold medication, allergy medication, it has codeine in it, and it will make you sleepy. It will make you drowsy. Proactive drivers rest. My daughter on the water with her jet ski. She's been out there all day. She's looking like a piece of burnt barbecue because you're getting all those ultraviolet rays. And she's with Bianca from Channel 955. I know you know who she is. Bianca's known across this region. Works for iHeartRadio, Channel 955. They were out on the water. Hey, got my bestie. She's doing like 50 on her jet ski. And I don't know if it was some of the boys. I saw her kind of flipping around. But they had their life jackets on. But that's what you're supposed to do when you're young. You're supposed to get out on there and have fun and do what you need to do. Okay? So if you've been out on the water, put yes, or jet ski. If you've been on the water or been on a jet ski, put yes. Okay, Bryce said yes. Okay. Maverick said yes, both. That's what's up. Alexis B said yes. Drew said yes. Yes. Okay. More than half of you, and you should. And it's exciting. But I'm just sharing this with you. On Instagram, I just happened to open it up. I saw people on jet skis running into boats doing like 40, or a slow moving boat came by and the jet ski went up in the air and they were barely holding on to it. Or the jet ski flew up in the air, they flew off and landed in a boat. So maybe that's the algorithm telling me you need to be careful. Maybe your daughter needs to be careful. That's funny how that thing happens, right? But defensive drivers eliminate distractions, okay? Stay focused. You tell your passengers, chill out. Personally, on jet ski, I almost drove over our tow rope. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Maverick, I don't know how to swim. I would be too scared. Of course, I will wear a life jacket. But, man, just be safe out there, okay? Please be safe, my brother. Be safe. Be safe out there on the jet ski. Enjoy every moment. And watch out for slow-moving vehicles, okay? All right, we're going to go here to Quizzy. I'm going to look at your takeaways. Takeaway, I've learned ESP and ABS means. Yes, Everett, they're going to be on the test. That's 2 or 4 points. Takeaway, ESP is extremely useful. Yeah, you don't want to lose control. And I need to educate myself on trailers. I haven't had a smaller trailer. I've had an 18-foot open trailer since 2000, okay? And you got to make sure it's good. Takeaways, learned about ABS. Takeaways, ABS anti-lock brake system, the front wheels. A lot of you have mentioning that. Learned about the supplies like anti-lock brake system. Certain spots are crumple zones. Yes, thank you, Alexis Jones. Takeaway, I've learned that ESP and how it works. I've learned, yep. Okay, so stand by a second. Guys, we are locking in. And this is a great masterclass. And we're going to hit a quizzy. So give me 1 second. Yeah, if I were you, I would go ahead, stand up and stretch. We all need to do that a second. And I'm going to get the quizzy ready. So just take a moment, stand up, go get a drink of water, use the bathroom, something. Trust me, I'm here for 6 hours. I just have you guys for another hour. And you're like, I'm done. But I'm in the seat dying. So let's give me 1 second here. Let's get this quizzy up. And these are going to be short because it's test prep. And if you have questions, put them in. So this is your master's class. And I'm a state certified driving instructor. We're answering questions about anti-lock brake system, safe driving protocol, central driving skills for new drivers. School and young adult. Okay, I'm starting your Join My Quiz right now. JoinMyQuiz.com. Thank you. Yeah, I got to stretch my legs too. All right. 25, 49, 62. Give me a moment, please. Stand by. I'm going to go stretch my legs. Stand by. Stand by, guys. I got to get up and stretch my legs. I'm dying here. Oh. That guy shot in here. He was like, I miss you. I had to be around Mr. Talk Too Loud. Yes. Oh. Well, it's like, I want some love too. Hey, baby. Hey. Hey, baby. Hey. Hi. Hey, baby. Hey. Emily here? Oh. Oh.
Oh, she works every day.
You know what I'm saying. Okay. All right. All right, guys, I'm back. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and get this started. I think it's 10 questions to 12 questions. So let's go. All right, guys. So, we're preparing, getting tests ready, making sure you're good. We want to stack it up and just do a good job. When you're out here learning how to drive, there's so many elements. There's so many things that are going on. And we are human. It takes our brain a moment to process everything that we're going through, right? And you got to identify, is this a deer? Is that a tire? Why is this car stopped? Oh, they broke down. Okay, if you're hauling a jet ski, a trailer, in my case, I have an 18-foot open trailer, I have a car on top, it takes me longer to slow down. a used 3/4 ton van would be perfect for me. I used to have one. I still would have had it if it didn't break down. Okay. And that Chevy 3/4 ton van got me to Florida, got me to Alabama, got me to Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, really across the country, and very reliable. I don't think I had any major breakdowns. I had to put a fresh set of spark plugs in, change the oil. That's routine maintenance. But I missed that Chevy 3/4 ton van because it was a conversion van. It had a pull-out bed in the back. Air conditioning was always good, very reliable. But I bought it when I think it had 100,000 miles on it. I bought it from another instructor from the driving school. And she said, we just took it down to Florida for family trips. I'm like, okay, sure. One of the best purchases I ever made. Seriously. It was one of the best purchases I had ever made because it was value. It never got stuck in the wintertime. It was great on the highway. It drank a little bit of gas, just a little bit, but it's a Chevy 3/4 ton van. I'm towing a 18-foot open trailer. It had the power. It wasn't straining. The brakes were a little sketch every now and then, but I was going too fast. I was going way too fast. A car had stopped, and the vehicle did have ABS, but it was so delayed. But you can't find those Chevy 3/4 ton vans anymore, and that might be an option for me instead of paying for a new truck. Trucks are nice, but if you have a van, you can get the family in. You can get a ATV in. So I missed that Chevy 3/4 ton conversion van. It was awesome. Okay. The fact is that van was reliable, great fuel economy. I felt very safe. And I just took it step by step. I needed something that was large enough. I didn't have to go to a hotel. I could sleep at the track. Just a really, really good vehicle. So I've observed people towing things with smaller cars. You don't want to do that. I observed vehicles struggling to get up and down hills and curves, and that's scary, right? If you always have an uncle, auntie who travels, they get everyone in, let's go. And low key, if you're in your 30s and 40s, you're trying to see the country. I'm trying to go to New York. I'm trying to go to Florida. I'm trying to go to Atlanta. We want to travel around. And that's nice when you can just pull over the side of the road, rest for a couple of hours, have your AC. This thing had a TV in it too, right? Then you set up your Skylink, and then you got internet, and you can stream a freaking show. And people do, different channels where, yes, yeah, deal with me. I get it. People have channels on the internet. They're traveling in their mobile home, their $100,000 coach with leather and pop-up side window and everything. I don't have a budget like that. I'm trying to find a Chevy 3/4 ton van, 350 engine in there, keep it tuned, starts all the time, great I never had a problem with that vehicle. They don't make vehicles like that anymore. Real talk. They do not. Take your time, guys. When you're done, we go over everything. So, and I really missed that vehicle. It was light green and gray. The final leg was we went to Wisconsin, came back. I had got lost. The wipers weren't working. It was a nightmare. The front tie rod ends were getting ready to break. So I was terrible in my maintenance. And I took it to the shop. They said, you should not be taking this vehicle anywhere. Your tie rods are bent. They're ready to break. God protected me. I should have got stranded in a snowstorm in Illinois. I should have got, I don't know how I made it home. The van broke down on my street. I had to push the van down the street and turn my driver's side wheel in. I sold that van for $1,000. I should never have sold that van, but I needed the money. So I observed people who were terrible at maintenance. That was me. And it's just a learning experience. You got to have a sense of urgency. You got to take care of your vehicle. You have to make sure that you buy the vehicle you can afford, maintenance, tires. I never had a flat tire because I took care of maintenance. I put brake pads on, but I fell off on those front end components. Those are $50, $100. I should have just spent $500, new front end, everything, get the windshield wipers fixed. I would have had that today and been richer and more ahead, because today you're going to have to put down $3,000, $4,000, have a credit rating of 800. No one has that. Most of us are between 600 and 750. Except my daughter. She's like a 750 or 770, right? Because she pays her stuff on time, right? Entrepreneur. She paid cash for her jet ski. She's not financing anything. The credit card companies don't want to see her. Okay. We're going to go over the quiz. There's some short ones that reflect what's on the state test. I'll handpick some of those. We got a couple of people who are finishing up, so I'm just being patient, waiting. So be patient. Let's wait for Alexis. Alexis, you take your time. Take all the time you want, girl. So it's really important that you are patient. No, the questions are different, but if you understand ABS, if you understand blind spot, if you understand right of way, they're themes. Okay. So give me 1 second. So you want to pick a vehicle that you want to pick a vehicle that is safe, reliable, starts up every single day, okay? And as I look back, again, I go back to that Chevy 3/4 ton van. That was the best vehicle I ever had. I've had Camaros, I've had Impalas, I've had SRT Jeep, just so much money, premium fuel, the lifter broke in the motor. It was just a nightmare. I probably will never get another Dodge vehicle, okay? I want to keep going. So the workflow is you buy a vehicle that is affordable, you make payments, you stay on top of your tires, your brakes, your front end components, you learn how to fix a flat tire. It goes beyond putting gas in, okay? All of you know how to put gas in. It goes beyond that. So take your time, put your gas in, learn how to check your oil, change a belt, change a hose, take an automotive repair shop at your local community college. A lot of high schools have stopped automotive shop. They need to bring that back. I would have been an automotive technician. If I would have followed my passion, I would have had 2 or 3 automotive shops, one for tuning and performance, one for general maintenance, and one for hardcore building. I'm still very passionate. Outside in the garage, we got the 18-foot open trailer. We have the Gen 1 Camaro, 3 transmissions, converters. I've changed motors before. But fast forward 10 years, 12 years, married, family. The trailer's to the right. It's covered up. We got the mattress off, thank God. My daughter said, Dad, you gotta clean the garage. You gotta take your time, Alexis. You got 5 more. Be patient, guys. So life be lifing. That's what E would say. The car is paid for. It's on the trailer. One of the trailer tires is flat. One of the tires on the race car is flat. Those tires are going to have to be replaced. The car is not a priority at this second. I have to get a vehicle capable of towing 4,000, 5,000 pounds. What I really should do is get on Facebook Marketplace, Real Talk, find a Chevy 3/4 ton van. Some old couple is down in Florida, 30,000, 40,000 miles. Go down there, offer them cash, change that oil, new tires and brakes, I'm good. Why should I spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a lease vehicle? Less than 2,000 miles a year, you put down $3,000. No one is doing this. And that's the problem. A lot of Americans can't afford newer cars because they're very expensive. Okay? So I know my path just from talking to all of you and going back and kind of thinking those really pure times, and things weren't so expensive, and I know what I want, and I just have to shop around and find it. And that'll be a good activity to type in that Chevy 3/4 ton conversion van. A lot of people can't afford a lot of stuff. True, I'm pimping on a budget. Okay, if I can get the vehicle that I know has been crazy reliable, why should I spend $8,000, $10,000, $12,000? Ain't lying. Okay, I'm not trying to impress anyone anymore. I've had the fast vehicles. I'm good. I don't need a Hellcat or Trackhawk. They're going to steal that anyway. I don't need a new Mustang. I'm too big for it. I don't need the Bronco. I'm too big for it. I'm too tall. I hit my head. $80,000 for a little rectangle that could flip over? No. I have a few years to prepare. Okay, we're trying to downsize. We're trying to, get a better price. So this is a sense of urgency. For real. I'm going to try to find some pictures of that Chevy 3/4 ton van, and I'll post them. You'll be like, Myles, that's so pure. It is. I was working on it in the driveway, putting front brake pads on. My son was little. I'm like, boy, stay away from that. I changed those brake pads. You use this unless you can't afford it. That's right. But it's called those Sprinter vans. They're more narrow, right? So you just got to shop around for the best things. I've observed people, they have a beautiful car, but they live in it. Would you rather have a nice apartment or house and a crappy car, or would you rather have a beautiful high-end car in a crappy house? It just depends. Because you go into the hood, they got a Corvette, they got a Hellcat, but their house is terrible. I'm not judging. I'm just telling you what I see, right? Any house, whether you got a mansion or a place in the hood, you got to cut the grass. You got to take care of gutters. I got to put on a downspout. Okay, I got to buy the right tools. You got to cut grass. Everyone hates that. You got to weed whack. 1 second. All right, here we go, guys. So everyone is done. I was patient, as I should be. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's read his question. Accuracy is 82%. That's what I'm talking about. 82%. Okay. Everett, 100%. Okay. Lexus B, 87. I'm looking at averages across the board. Let's go to the questions quick. I don't want to waste your time. So a 16-year-old driver is considering allowing 3 friends to ride with them after school on a Friday. So that's distractions. So 2 to 5 is the most dangerous time. Peak crash time. And in May, June, or July, with your friends, it increases the risk of you being distracted. Okay? So if you understand this, no matter what question you have on your state test, you're good. Next, compare the risk of driving on a country road with a 55 mile per hour speed limit during fair weather versus driving on the interstate highway speed at night. Which presents the greatest risk? And you're right. Sometimes the house looks terrible on the outside. Inside, it's beautiful. Facts. Okay, so the country road is the greatest risk. There's a soft shoulder. It's crown shaped. It's a dirt road. The road could crumble. It could fall apart. You could put your car into a ditch. How do I know? My son used to play football in Upper Iowa. We had to drive to Upper Iowa. The ditches were 6 feet down. I said to myself, oh my God, if we lost control, that ditch is 6 feet down. Who could find us? What happens at night? Because I've only been to Iowa a handful of times. So country roads are the most dangerous. Next, a young driver has completed 50 hours of daytime practice, but the parents skipped it. They skipped the nighttime driving. You're going to end up crashing at night. The driver will be unprepared for the 24% of fatal crashes that occur in the dark on unlit roads. Nighttime is the most dangerous for all of us, particularly young drivers. Thank you. Got that right. Let's keep going. Using the provided information about the brain function and distracted driving. You're going to have some questions on brain function and cell phones. I'm giving you the elements right now. And if you listen to what I'm saying and put together a little cheat sheet, a little card, you're going to be good. Okay? Brain function decreases. So you really have to be careful. The primary danger is cognitive brain power. Cognitive, your brain. If your mom is talking to you, your brain decreases when you're focusing on driving. Your dad, you're looking at a GPS map. Okay? Cognitive function decreases associated with driving 40%. It goes down by 40%. Let's go to next. And some of you have questions on this. I think this is the one where someone sent me a text on this. A driver, 130 pounds, has 2 drinks on an empty stomach. Okay? No food in your stomach. A driver B, has 2 drinks after a large meal. Which driver poses the greatest risk? It is driver A, because without food to slow absorption, alcohol reaches the bloodstream faster, results in a higher peak BAC. You need to know what BAC is, because one of you sent me a text on this. So you need to know about BAC. Why is this a thing? Why are we? Because this is an epidemic across the country. These are rules across the country. So you need to know this. Thank you, whoever texted me. I appreciate that. Hold on. All right, here we go. You are stopped at a stop sign and see a vehicle approaching rapidly from behind. Like you're chilled. Like when you stop, I should see you looking up. When you're stopped, your parents should be observing you. They're going to be happy you're driving. Like, oh my God, our baby's driving. Oh my God, our baby's driving. And some of them will be scared. Some of them will be happy. It depends on the parent. So someone's getting ready to hit you from behind based on the principles of crash consequence control. If you don't understand crash consequence control, I can't even talk. Which action is the safest? So you got to read through your questions. So I'm going to read all of them and then we'll give you the correct one. You see the correct one. Apply the park brake firmly to ensure your vehicle does not move an inch during impact. That'd be horrible because something has to absorb the impact. Next, release the brake to allow the vehicle to move forward with the impact, reducing the force of the collision. Shift the car in reverse. Why are you shifting in reverse? Your car won't move. It's going backwards. It's going to be even worse. It's almost like a backup rear collision. Your energy, their energy combined. Okay? Shift the car into reverse, push back against a oncoming vehicle. Like someone came out. Someone was in the waiting room. Sorry about that. Okay, I want to keep moving. Turn the steering wheel sharply to the left so the vehicle spins. If you get hit, the car's going to swing to the left and you could get hit by other vehicles. That's the wrong thing to do. So the correct answer is release the brake to allow your vehicle to move forward with the impact. Okay? A driver in a two-lane road sees an oncoming vehicle drift into their lane. This is a good test question. You ask, why might leaving the roadway be a safer choice than an emergency stop? You have to look, roadway, two-lane road. This is a situational question. Stopping is always illegal on two-lane roads, whereas driving on the shoulder is permitted in emergencies. No. A driver can almost always turn to miss an obstacle more quickly than they can come to a complete stop. Yes. Leaving the roadway is the only way to ensure the other driver is held legally responsible for the incident. No. The principles of inertia suggest that a vehicle is more stable when driving on the grass. This is what two of you picked at, like I'm in your brain right now. It kind of makes sense, but the correct answer is a driver can almost always turn to miss an obstacle more quickly than they can come to a complete stop. When approaching an alcohol impairment distracted driver, they're impaired. It could be maybe they're too tired. Maybe we drove from New York to Washington, D.C., Philadelphia. We're tired. We're driving like we're impaired. We're driving slow. We're all over the road. I've done tired driving. I don't drink. I've done tired driving. You feel horrible. Every mile is torture. You just want to sleep, but you can't get really good sleep because you're in a vehicle. And when you sleep, you really feel like you're driving, and then you wake up, oh my God. And then you realize you're parked, you're still alive, you check, and then you go to sleep and you wake up again. So you really don't get that good sleep unless you go to a hotel. And we're not putting down $100. Well, we gonna get free breakfast though. Right? So you gotta slow down when you're tired. The correct answer here, alcohol affects multiple physical and mental systems simultaneously and significantly reduces the driver's ability. So you won't be as aware. You're going to go too slow. You're going to go too fast. You might drive on the wrong side of the road. You might stop when it's green. Don't drink. Well, don't drink. You're about to die. Analyze the impact of a 17-year-old driver taking 3 friends to a party. You're happy, you're excited, you're hyped. What does the specific scenario increase risk in a crash by 207%? Combined with distraction, late night driving, divided attention, you're going to crash. You're going to take your friends out. You're going to be on the water all day. You're going to ride motorcycles all day. You're going to go horseback riding. You should. You're tired. You got a 4-hour drive. You're tired. Okay? So, I had to spend the night. Tell your parents, Mom and Dad, I'm tired. I'm going to spend the night at John's house or, Bianca's house, Emily's house. I'm sleeping on the couch. The parents are good. My location is on. Okay, you know Mr. Myles. They're good. He does driver's ed instruction. Okay. Parents know parents. Okay. A driver uses voice commands to text while driving, even though their eyes stay on the road. Okay, your eyes are on the road. You're driving to Atlanta, Georgia. Real talk. One of my students, she's done with her drive. She takes her test tomorrow. Okay, within 7 to 10 days, the certificate, she's going to try to drive to Atlanta, Georgia. She's excited. She's tired. What is dangerous? Research shows that mental distractions can last up to 27 seconds, causing inattention blindness, where the brain fails to process what their eyes see. I've been there before, driving down to Florida. Okay, me and my good friend, Michael Love, AKA Sweet Toes. He was our punter in high school. We took the Chevy 3/4 ton van. We drove down to Florida with the car, 18-foot open trailer. We both were exhausted. Okay, I was at the track. He went to see the ocean. That's all we gonna say. But those are good memories. So it takes you time. You will have inattention blindness. Compare the 3 degrees of aggressive driving. That's definitely going to be on your test. Aggressive driving, the 3 degrees of aggressive driving. Rush in. They deliberately cut you off, bro. It's okay, man. I got my trailer, my jet ski, my car. I'm not worried about that. You let them cut you off, bro? I'm not worried about them, bro. You let them cut you. You got a friend who's crazy. This is why they're not driving. This is why I'm the better driver. You let them cut you off? You've seen it on social media before. You can't get all crazy. You're 1,000 miles away from home. Okay? Your oil pressure is low. Your car's not running good. You got some bad gas. You didn't know it. Oh, also, you should get gas at the same gas station all the time. You want to make sure the gas is fresh. You don't want to go to a random gas station. They can have water in the gas, and then your whole day is ruined. There's so much you guys have to learn. So a driver starts by rushing due to impatience. You running late, me running late, your instructor running late. Mr. Myles, they're not here yet. I got a text. Be patient, scholar. They're an hour away. There's a car deer crash. A semi-truck rolled over. There's a multi-vehicle accident. An elderly man rear-ended a semi-truck. Be patient, okay? This is why you guys have my number. I have yours. They're not here yet. Be patient. I'll send a text. It's all about communication. Also, remember, if you need to schedule other drives, your instructor tomorrow will take care of the rest. My job was to get you guys started, sign you up, just like my next class starts on Monday. I think there's 16 or 20 in there. I already got schedules for the instructors, plug and play. And if you have to make up a day, you got to call corporate after you take your test tomorrow, tell them what class you're in, where the class, when the class started, and tell them you got to make up all of you text me. So when I finish off the attendance, I'll double check everything. In fact, do this again for me. Text me the day or days you missed. Please do that again. My phone is to the side right now because after today, you won't see me anymore. You're going to, so just text me again. Text me the date you missed. I'll put in, I do have it. Just send it to me again. We'll do another quiz in a moment. If you already have a message, that's it. Send again. Thank you. Thank you. I already see it coming in. I want to be thorough. I want to do a good job. I want you to get your certificate on time. So here's what happens. If you're done with driving, your instructor will turn in the drive card. It has to be put in the mail, sent to corporate office. They're going to scan your card, put it in your digital file. Once your test is at the corporate office, our employees will alphabetize all the tests, the roster, put your test in, put your drive card in, make sure your attendance is good, make sure you're all paid, make sure you have everything signed and dated. You need to check your green card. If your instructor was lazy, God, I've been there, but I learned my lesson. Every single drive needs to be dated and signed. You need to take a moment to look at your drive card. I'm not there with you. All of you should have your drive card. It's green. I don't have any here with me. They're in another file. This room is a mess. That's what a mess. We don't have them. Your instructor may keep them. There are two ways. I have my students bring their drive cards After the drive is over, I sign and date it. They put their initials back to you. On the last drive, we drive over to corporate. We put it in the mailbox. You're done. Corvette, Corvette. In your case, your instructor may keep the green card. Okay, you sign, you date. I keep it in the folder because some instructors are driving at 2 locations or 3. I've been there before because I'm trying to hustle, make this money, show corporate that I'm a hard worker, but really it's pressure. It's pressure on me. It's pressure on the car, maintenance, tires, brakes. I'm tired. I got to drive an hour to another location to drive 10 students, another location to drive 5. Oh, by the way, I got to drive an adult. And oh, by the way, I got to eat lunch. Oh, man, I'm sick. Oh, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Oh, I teach class. It's a lot of pressure. You guys don't know that. I'm telling you the other side of driving. I'm just at one location, thank goodness, but I'm teaching. I actually have 3 classes today. Yours, mine, and then a segment 2. 2 tests tomorrow. My segment 1 and segment 2, you're taking yours with another instructor. So make sure everything is signed and dated. Don't blame your instructor. You got to make sure you put your date, your time. This is what I do. If your instructor's not on top of this, it's going to take you another 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, 21 days. My students are getting their certificates within 10 days. I'm just letting you know how I move. Okay? So I'm just telling you. So you want to be impatient. You do not want to be impatient. You don't want to tailgate others. This will lead to escalations of physical confrontation. You're fighting someone. A driver has been awake for 18 hours. You driving from New York to Texas. You driving from Texas to Michigan. You driving from Michigan to Atlanta, Georgia. You driving from Atlanta, Georgia to Los Angeles, California. You're tired. You've been up for 18 hours. According to research, how does this affect their ability compared to a person who has been consuming? Staying away for 18 hours is equal to a BAC of 0.1. This is above the legal limit. So if you don't get rest and you're driving, you could end up crashing into someone, going off the road. It's called microsleep episodes, where you're driving and momentarily your eyes close, your brain shuts down, and then you wake back up. You're driving, your eyes close, and then you wake back up. Those are those microsleep episodes. Using the principles of inertia and kinetic energy, you're going to have this on the test. Evaluate why an unbelted driver faces a higher risk of injury during a collision. The vehicle stops. I'm laughing. I'm crying. The vehicle stops, but inertia causes the unbelted driver to continue to move at the original speed until they hit an interior object or the ground. I told you the story when I was teaching driver's ed a couple of summers ago. Young lady didn't have on her seatbelt. Her friends were driving. She split her chin open. She had 3 stitches. I drove her friend later. They said, hey, Mr. Myles, can we ride with you over to the school because you're driving a 2-hour session? I'm like, sure, hop in the back. And I said, Jacqueline, what happened to your chin? Oh, I didn't have on my seatbelt. And the dog came out in the middle of the street. My friend didn't split her chin open. A driver's brakes fail. You're going to have this on the highway. Which sequence of actions is justified as to the safest response? What's the safest thing to do? Pump the brakes to make sure there's still hydraulic fluid in. Shift to the lowest gear. If you're in drive, you can shift to 2 or 1, and that's a lower gear in the transmission. You can use the gear. You can downshift when you're going up hills to give you more pulling power. You can downshift to a lower gear to give you more braking power. Okay? And gently apply the park brake. 2 vehicles crash at 35. Boom. Head-on collisions. Two vehicles crash at 35. One hits a tree, the other one hits a parked car. You hit a tree, you don't move. The car wraps around you. Unfortunately, we go into your funeral. Other one hits a parked car, we're going to see you at the hospital. Based on the physical principles, which collision is likely to be more severe? Obviously, hitting the tree. The tree is a non-yielding object. All right, type takeaway. Type takeaway. Let's go. I'm preparing you for the test. Type in takeaway. Takeaway. What did you learn? Type it in. And again, I want to thank whoever texts me, obviously, because we want to make sure you guys are ready. I think I've been very thorough. As I look at the data, I'll probably be at an A-. You guys will probably be at an A- too. It doesn't serve me any purpose if I'm graded out at A- and you're a B-. But that's still good. It is still good, but I'm always pushing myself and pushing you to get better. Your test tomorrow should be easy. If it's hard, you didn't read, you didn't really put in your time, and you didn't really put in care. You got to put in care. Okay? You got to want to get better. Stand by. I want to say thank you for the masterclass. We gave some really good personal examples. Here's what I recommend you do. I recommend you subscribe to join the masterclass. And I'm looking for you to share your personal story. And this helps us to remember, I'm going deep. More long-form content where you can sit back and listen, sit in front of your smart TV, sit on the couch, have the caption on so you can listen and understand. I want to say thank you. 24 years of experience, teaching over 24.6K students. I want to say thank you. Bye.